Oh,
get
this
your
is
girlfriend at the stables, please.
Dina's big intro.
Oh, here she comes. I'm Shannon Woodward. I play Dina. I had a really hard time hiding behind nothing here.
Well, that's the thing that's so hard about sometimes acting in these things is that like the kids weren't there, and then we like
Yeah.
later captured kids and kind of constructed all the pieces.
Hey.
This is a me lean. I love to lean.
I just want to say sorry for running off last night.
I actually really love this scene.
I totally get it. I felt bad.
I love the one-liners that you guys kind of riffed on when we were doing the combat stuff for the snowball fight.
Oh my god.
I still die laughing when I hear you guys insulting children.
And I think that was really, a lot of that was just my instinct.
Yeah. Your parents don't love you.
Yes. Yeah, and then I think eat snow, you
Eat
little.
snow.
No, I
Yes.
think you little shits. Yeah. Because I think you were like eat snow, and then I said eat snow, you little shit. I think
God.
it's like.
I love name-calling children.
What the fuck? I'm not even playing.
Interesting parallel is Ellie doesn't want to do any of this until she gets hit with a snowball, and then it's like, let's make these motherfuckers pay, which is again is a really lighthearted moment of what this whole story's about.
Better run, you little shit.
Oh, there we go.
You think it's still good?
Does weed go bad?
Let's find out.
The infamous weed scene.
Are you gonna talk about how we did this twice?
You
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we
my
had a whole
God,
other version of
yes.
the scene that was a little too
On the
earnest,
nose. Yeah.
and we rewrote it and recaptured it.
It's
How do
funny
you
you
mean by
described it
that?
as earnest because I felt that it was literally a fight until she's like, "Okay, I love you."
It also felt that fight was trumping some stuff that happens later in the theater once we're in Seattle. So this was like a moment to give them
What's wrong with you?
pure innocence before we go on this violent journey.
I remember, Neil, when you pitched the idea that, like, she throws the glass, and I was still, to this day, I'm like, but what if you smoke glass? I
Yeah.
get
What if you
really
smoke glass?
concerned.
It is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, been we stuck here a while, right?
Kissing scenes in performance capture is really hard.
I feel like the hardest part about it was when we would have to do the ones where we would have to be standing apart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
God.
that
then
was really embarrassing.
we would just have to be like
Yeah,
with
because
ourselves.
we had one where it was just you standing there with your face turned to the side
Ugh,
and
I-
just kind of kissing the air so we get the pure facial reference that isn't obscured by
And then
Shannon's
I was like,
big
why
head.
do you need the front of the face? The front of the face is being used.
Well, because they animate it from like all angles, even though you only see like one
Yeah.
side.
How would you?
I feel like if I had to do this with anybody else, it would have been even more uncomfortable. But because Shannon and I got so close, it was helpful to sort of, when we had to do those awkward sort of kissing moments and we weren't actually being able to connect with each other physically and feeling awkward and weird, we would still be holding on to each other. So it still felt
We were like minorly cuddling,
minorly cuddling. So you're like, well, at least there's like a little bit of something
like
here.
intimacy. There was still
Yeah.
some form of intimacy that was like, all right, I still feel safe. I don't feel like I'm like flapping in the wind.
And you're in a brightly lit room
Very brightly
with
lit
a bunch
room.
of technical engineers like standing all around you.
Yeah. But we found ways around it to sort of still be able to, connect with each other and not feel so weird.
Oh, what? I mean, now I really want
I
to.
mean, what you're doing is, I think, pretty hard. You're trying to convey years of relationship with this other your best friend, and it all has
Yeah.
to come across like there's just so much history, and yet there's this still awkward thing that hasn't been realized until this moment.
Have you met you?
You make me want to go back outside into that blizzard.
She's got to flick that joint really aggressively in a second.
Flicky.
Ellie's so cool here. Look at how cool she is.
This better be better than a sex.
Yeah.
The flicking always made me
It's
uncomfortable.
very
I was
aggressive.
like, what if it catches on
It's
fire?
a very dry space.
This is the Lethal Weapon 4 comparing scars.
I love it.
When I was 12,
Look at those arms.
Really jacked.
Dina's hot.
I tried to get on it.
So's Ellie. They're hot.
Yeah.
We're hot.
Yeah, we're hot.
I remember armpit hair being a large discussion.
Armpit hair with
the
Ashley
office.
Swadowski, who was our character art director.
Yeah, and how much body hair should the girls have, and what are we okay with, and like let them be natural ladies.
I love it.
A chemical burn. I did it myself.
Why?
It's on the tip of her tongue right there. That's a hard thing to say to somebody. Like, oh, I'm the only person that doesn't really get affected by this thing that's completely ruined the world.
Right here.
Now I'm trying to remember, does it make it in that I'm like, I told you something true? It does.
Yeah.
It does. This still happens here.
Yeah.
This
puncher.
scene, because we did it twice, sometimes I'm like, I don't remember which, because both times we did like, it was like 5 hours.
Yeah, they were big
Yeah.
days.
Ring of fucked up teeth marks and cysts and
Ow! Fuck you.
What? Hey!
I told you a real fucking story.
I did tell you a real fucking story.
Oh, you want to bite, Mark?
Oh, God.
Oh, here comes
this scene.
Steven. I remember how, Shannon, how angry you were at Steven.
I wasn't angry at Steven. I couldn't tell why I was mad, and then this was the only real thing I actually fought for was this. Was to make him turn around. I was with you, and I was like, he needs to turn around, and you were like, why? And I was like, it took me a while to explain it to you, and then when he did it, then you were like, I get it. Because I was like, no, because I have to protect her.
Pretty sure that was in the script. but
No,
maybe
it
you might
wasn't.
be
It
right.
was the only argument we had.
It's been 3 years. I don't remember.
Oh,
You're probably
yeah.
It
right.
was
I
actually,
remember this.
It was the only thing I argued with you about. And it was because I felt so protective of Ashley that I knew it was right. That I was like, because we were so close, that I was like, turn around. She's naked. Like,
Yes.
You know,
because you guys knew each other intimately, but
Yeah.
Ellie and...
exactly. And because I had to, like, I wanted to prove to you that I was loyal to you and not embarrassed because he was there.
exactly.
But I love it. I feel like it shows so much about how strong Dina is and how loyal and sort of just, I don't know, I love that. I feel like that little moment says so much about Dina.
Oh my God. Ellie?
And just this final look right here where she sees him and I can't fix this. Well, she's going to try to find a way to fix it.
They're down here.
Yeah, she's gonna try to find a way to fix it in the best way she knows how.
There's something about, you know, when it doesn't feel real until you're at his grave. Like there's a part of you, maybe because you play a bunch, like you play video games, you watch a lot of popular movies, you keep thinking he's going to come back somehow. And then it's like, no, there's his name on that gravestone. And then the famous Gustavo All Gone, another version of that theme.
It was hard. It was hard. Joel is a character that I love. And I wasn't ready to let him go. So seeing that, even experiencing that of seeing, you know, oh, we're doing a scene where we're at the gravestone is very final. I love it. I love that Dina was there the whole time and we didn't know that yet. Not looking on, just sort of giving Ellie her moment.
I remember when we were doing that, I really did feel like I was like really trying not to listen to you.
I felt that too.
You did?
Yeah. It's like I'm right here if you need me, but
It's
I'm
like,
not
but
listening.
I'm not listening. You know, you have your privacy, but if you need me, I'm here.
This is Ashley Scott as Maria realizing what Tommy has done.
Maria, I'm headed to Seattle. I wish I could let it go, but I can't. I have to bring these people to justice. Ellie's gonna try to come after me, but stop her. Take her guns, lock up the horses, maybe lock her up. Buy me some time so I can end this. Love you always, Tommy. He's gonna get himself killed.
He should have taken me with him.
I like that she hasn't thought at all about what she's just going. She doesn't even know what she's
No,
doing, what she's
no,
gathering.
Zero plan.
And Maria knows this, right? Maria knows her like a parent of sorts, and to say, okay, well, if you're gonna do this, here's some stuff.
You going with her?
Damn right she is.
Ride or die.
Sneak out of here.
I love that those little moments with Dina where you see the snarky
Mhm.
bits.
And it's funny because like this whole section here, I constantly felt like anytime we were dealing with Joel or anything about Jackson there, I was like, oh, this is none of my business. You know, like it felt like I shouldn't be there. And even in that scene there too, it was like, well, I mean, yeah, I'm going with her and I'm here to be with her, but all of this stuff predates me. So all I could do were kind of these little things that were almost like for your benefit to like kind of support you or be like, I saw that was a lot. Are you
You're
okay?
like, oh
you
boy,
know?
she's a lot. Yeah.
Do me a favor. And
It's that weird feeling of letting someone that's grieving have their space, but offering yourself to help them in any way you can.
Of course.
all right. Get going. You're losing light.
I really remember the end of this scene and this look that I give you. Like, well, that was a lot. I think, yeah, here it is right here. Yeah, there it is. I was like, like, oof, this is like a lot. Today
It's
is
also
a
that,
lot.
that could have gone way worse.
Yeah,
and-
yeah,
and-
in here it's still there. I'm like, all right.
This
We're
shot
gonna
right
go.
here with the light coming through Ellie's ear is just so gorgeous.
This hunter was on top of him, drowning him, and Joel couldn't get to his gun.
Jeez. Were you scared?
Well, I didn't even think. I just ran in there, grabbed his gun, and shot the guy in the face.
How old were you?
14. That's not it.
Hey, Hallie, do you want to talk about how we managed to get the
Oh,
rights
sure.
to this beautiful song?
Sure. We were looking for a song, and my bestie is a spectacular woman named Lauren Savoy, whose husband is Paul Wakhtar Savoy, who is a member of the band Aha. And so I reached out and said, would it be possible to get this dope-ass song in the game? And they were like, yeah, let's do it. That's amazing. That's great. So it was just a lucky happenstance that we were able to pull it off. But it's great because now like two of my favorite things are combined forever.
I wanted to.
Me too.
All right. We should keep moving.
Yeah.
Oh. The Tommy
Oh.
torture scene. So we got to see Joel do this scene in the first game of interrogating two people. And now we get to see like the aftermath of having this interrogation done by Tommy. Just shows you what he's capable of.
Tommy did this.
And then later we get to see Ellie try to do this.
No way.
Right, and at this point for Dina, she doesn't really know about Tommy's past. She doesn't know that she doesn't have the privileged information that Tommy used to be as bad as Joel. And she's just really sort of seeing that for the first time.
Because she knows like the reformed Tommy that lives in
Right.
Jackson, that helps everybody.
Shit.
Right.
There's another one over here.
Yeah, I remember we iterated a lot on the lighting of this room and trying to give it the right vibe, that it wasn't too bright or too dark.
I don't recognize him.
And that's really important. I don't recognize him. That shows Tommy killed someone that wasn't involved in Joel's death. That there's already starting to be this cost of whether this person is innocent or not. Is who knows?
No, he wasn't. He has to say a question, but you don't make him say it. You make him write it down. And then you ask this guy.
This is the worst board game ever.
Telling the truth.
One of the things that really like rocks me about some of these scenes is also just how comfortable they are around death all the time.
Yeah.
It implies her understanding this kind of anger and grief as well, that like Ellie really is not okay and she's losing because other people are going through this
Right.
all the time. And so like it's those little things like that that really like moved me when I was actually playing the game. I was like, God, this is fucked up. Like
And right around this area is where we have Dina mention her sister and how she was never able to avenge whatever happened to her sister. So she has this unfulfilled thing, and she knows how traumatic that can be, and she doesn't want that for Ellie.
this is the first time Dina realizes that she's like really not okay. She's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I love because
It's the hints of the obsession. Of
Yeah.
like she's losing herself to this chase instead of what's actually happening right now.
And really, really to their detriment.
And it was important when we were writing this scene to have the death be relatively quick. And then you can't even linger and think about it. And again, this just kind of push forward of like, maybe the next one will be more satisfying. Or maybe the one after that will be more satisfying.
I don't fucking know. Come on. Fuck, Ellie. Go around.
hey, look.
This is the
Tommy's.
foreshadowing I'm pregnant scene.
This is my least favorite part of my performance. I'm not kidding. Nauseous performance. It really, every time I see it, I'm just like, that's not good.
Is that your Achilles heel?
Oh, there's a lot. Hiding behind walls and, yeah, that, no.
You could hear
No.
the puke splashing on the
I
ground.
did hear that. They helped me there.
And that, again, it's another one of those things where like the audio department let me listen to like several versions of puke hitting the ground and picking one.
Ew. I always feel like whenever I have to act like I'm throwing up, I always start dry heaving. Because once you get that, then you're like,
Like a cat with a fur ball.
yeah.
Oh,
Here.
this is
Yeah, this
the
is the
mask
scene.
break.
I remember just fighting. I was like, I just have to make sure her hands never touch the mask.
I remember talking to you about this, Neil. Like, you were like, it's like she's committing suicide in front of you, is like what it is.
Oh
like,
yeah. 'Cause
you
as
know,
far as you know, she is.
yeah, and so that's where that reaction came from. Was he was like, she's killing herself in front of you, is what it looks like to you.
And there it is. The I'm immune, I'm pregnant scene.
Got it.
Yeah, it's just this is where the obsession. I think this is the first time it's really getting in between them. That there's now personal conflict starting to form.
Yeah, there's a real standoff towards the end of this scene too.
Ellie, do you remember this was your first week at Naughty Dog, and we had an outline. Some of the major beats were there, and you had the idea of like, what if we made Dina pregnant?
Yeah, because we were I think it was on my first day, and the problem we were trying to solve was we want these two girls to go to Seattle together. We want to have Ellie to have this conduit to talk about her feelings and maybe this thing to pull her back. But how do we how can we narratively hold Dina back so that Ellie can do a bunch of these missions alone? Because so much of this is about the singularity of the obsession and the loneliness of that and how hard it is to be alone in this world. And I just threw it out there. Let's knock her up.
It's interesting too with if you think about the first game, over the course of the journey with Joel and Ellie, is they slowly open up more to each other and reveal more of their secrets. And these characters are kind of doing the same thing. They're both holding back on secrets. So even though it's a very angry scene, they're revealing everything to each other. You were telling the truth.
Maria and
Yeah, bitch.
and Joel are the only ones who know.
I'll just speak the subtext for all these scenes.
Please do.
Knew.
I found this scene really hard because it was one of the. I mean, we literally you have two very like big reveals or reactions that could have been like really soapy if I did it wrong. You know, it's like the I'm pregnant and also like the chemical burn. You know, like that. That's really tough.
It's
and
like because I remember we talked a lot about that, which is. You just thought your friend was going to die in front of you. You thought you might have to shoot them in front of you.
Yeah, it really opens with
so
her
you
being
have this
like, I'm gonna be
moment of
alone,
like
yeah.
sadness, relief, and also, by the way, I'm pregnant.
A lot of the times when Ellie's in severe conflict, she like one of the things that I find very relatable is like suddenly she loses eye contact. Like it just goes inward. Everything just goes into this inward rage that is so nuanced, and I don't know how you could really pull this off in a game a decade ago maybe, because there's so much beautiful facial that you do that they're able to capture.
Yeah, I feel like I talk about this all the time. Like
What are we
this
supposed to do now?
game, I don't think would have had the impact or any of that without. I mean, there's so many people that make
long
up
have you known?
the performance that you end up seeing and playing.
Was late a few weeks
And
ago.
I feel like
We could've-
you can give it your all, but if you don't have
still turned back.
the right people that are sitting there for, I don't know how, I mean, years
Well,
and years.
Well, you're a burden now, aren't you?
It's sculptors,
yeah.
it's animators, it's lighting artists. Even if you don't get the right lighting, the performance doesn't come through.
Right.
And all that stuff just takes a lot of effort and iteration, like so much iteration to get it right, and to try to that moment we felt on the stage to draw it out in a CG character is a lot of work.
So much work to really nail the anxious avoidant attachment style. It's gorgeous. It's like we all understand, you know?
More puking. This is you could really hear the puke
Yeah,
splashing.
this one I feel more comfortable with.
How hot do I look right now?
Be me to be fixing some kind of computer and,
mean,
and
this-
then puking in the middle.
really proves how much Ellie loves Dina, because going up to someone that just puked and getting close to them, that's a lot.
I mean, to be fair, she did stay up all night tracking the radio
I
stuff.
know. But she also puked.
Like, listen, if I had to date one, I think Dina.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
I would steer clear of Ellie.
Maybe Tommy got to him.
Maybe.
What about her?
There's this moment again. We don't. Ellie doesn't. There's a moment where she looks to Dina and then she realizes like how much Dina's been doing.
The numbers.
you could see the appreciation in her face.
I remember this because I felt so bad. Because the way you were just playing it, you were just so sick, but you were like, I feel like I need to pull my weight. Since I had called you a burden, and I felt like such a piece of shit.
This move right here of like scooting in and this back rub thing is such an Ashley move.
Well, it's also because we couldn't get too close because when we'd stick together,
We'd
otherwise she
stick.
would have held me.
Yeah.
Look. Last night was stupid.
Casualties reported at 14. All available units report. Over. This is Site 13. Unit Lena nearby. How many scars you got? Over. Negative on scars. Lone male trespasser. Armed.
Lone male
Over.
trespasser.
And then this was, again, we wanted to leave Dina behind because we wanted this Ellie by herself, just these really lonely pursuits. And I felt like it was really hard to justify how we're going to pull it off. But I felt like this scene does a good job of, it shows Dina tries. No matter, like, even if she feels like shit, she wants to be there to help Ellie.
Okay.
In The Last of Us, there's a lot of totems that come to represent certain people, whether it's Joel's watch, Ellie's switchblade, the guitar that's shared between Ellie and Joel. And now it becomes this bracelet that Dina gives Ellie as a good luck charm. It's like this khamsa, which is a very Middle Eastern thing that was very much in my family. Yeah, I love that. I love that she gives it to her for.
Wait.
It will keep her safe. It's a khamsa and an evil eye within it.
It's for good luck. I don't believe in luck.
Did we ever establish how Dina got that? Whether that was from her sister?
I think it was from her sister, but
Yeah, that's what's in my mind. But I don't know if we ever explicitly say that. There's a lot of like foreshadowing here too, of like the
Yeah.
splitting up, and then later the splitting up at the farm. Also, an interesting dynamic that we talked a lot about. This
Dina.
like this triangle between Ellie, Jesse, and Dina. And the thing we really didn't want to do is any sort of jealousy about are Dina and Jesse going to get back together. Like it was never about that.
oh my god.
But it was just more just Ellie feels isolated.
You okay?
And in some ways, I'm curious to hear what you think, Ashley, but I think she kind of wants to be. She doesn't want to be part of this reunion, and she wants
Oh,
to,
yeah.
she just wants to dwell on what's next.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel like I was trying to play it because I can relate to that when you're like going through something and you're like, I don't want to go through this with anybody else because it's going to be dark. So I'm just going to do it myself.
That sequence takes us to one of the flashbacks. There's a whole history with Joel and how Ellie feels about Joel and what Joel did in the hospital, and she doesn't let Dina into any of that. This is just their own personal thing that she's carrying, and she's still wrestling with that after his death.
Ellie is very not great at talking about her feelings, which I think is why she's on this mission, because she's not using her words.
Oh, I liked your action here, Shannon, which is use your teeth to cut the thread.
Yes, same.
Did I do that?
You did.
Yeah.
That adds up.
There's so much survivalist intimacy in this game.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Why didn't you tell him?
There's so much you could read out of those faces.
Yeah.
There you go.
What about this? Anything worthwhile?
And there's that fucking map
Yeah, this
again.
is this is where the conflict starts to bubble back up between these two.
It makes it so much more sad because it's like, just stick with Dina. Look how you have love and care.
It's so interesting because it's what The Last of Us is about. It's like
Yeah.
within this room right now, you have like two kinds of love. There's this very positive one with Dina, and this kind of negative one of like, I gotta get the people that hurt the person I love, Joel.
Wait, you're gonna go now?
Yeah.
And where now the negative one is trumping the positive one.
Just wait for Jesse to rest up.
She could be gone by then.
She's got to make the lamb stop screaming, you know?
We know her location.
And she's using Tommy as an excuse in a very minor way now, and a much more significant way later. And it's funny. It's like all these like Maria, Tommy, and now Dina realize I can't convince her otherwise. She's just gonna go do it. So all I could do is support her.
Well, it's a diction narrative,
Yeah.
right? It's like
Can you come help me with the door, please?
you have to wait until
And
they
it's-
bottom out.
And it's the foreshadowing that eventually Dina says, I can't do it anymore. There's a parallel of an image there when Ellie goes to enter Joel's house, her hand shakes, and then she grabs the handle, and now her hand is shaking from the violence she's committed against Nora. And it just shows that as much as she wants to be like Joel, she's not Joel. I think Joel could disassociate more, just remove himself from the impact that his violence has in a way that Ellie cannot.
Ellie doesn't have as much practice with it.
She also has, I think, more empathy.
I think so.
I also think she needs it more than he did. I think for Joel, killing is practical, and for Ellie, it's emotional.
Right. We see Joel in the first game tortures a couple of guys, and he just moves on. And then Ellie just did it, and it will forever change her.
Yeah, that's not something you can take back.
The torturing we've seen of Joel's has always been toward a productive purpose, right? It's to help or to save or to learn in a way to be a protector. And Ellie is just a destroyer.
Love this performance. This is a very expensive part of the game, by the way. One of the things in live action is you get for free is putting a shirt on or taking it off. In a CG world or in video games, it's extremely expensive and hard. And we had to write this whole physics simulation on this shot, this right here. This is so tricky to pull off. We're seeing it at the same time that Dina is seeing it. Like, look how beat up she is. Look how much she's already gone through.
Often when you play video games, your character or any of the characters in the game are impervious, right? They live or they die. It's pretty binary. And this allowing us to show the wear and tear on her body and allowing the violence to have an impact, not just emotionally, but also visibly, again, humanizes all of the characters in this game.
There's so much happening there with almost no dialogue.
That scene is tough. Like, taking her shirt off and exposing her and her grief there, because it's not just about what she did, you know? Like, there's so much grief, and she hasn't expressed anything yet, right? Like, it's the first time you really see it, and so there's this urge to, like, care for that. But then also that anxiety of, like, I'm losing this person.
Right.
It's really painful to even watch and, like, talk about. Like, it's really heavy. It's just such a universal theme there. Ellie? Hey.
That poor baby.
That poor baby.
Yeah.
We had a lot of conversations here about Ellie's thought process, the things she's not expressing, but she put the baby's life at risk right now, right? It's like, who knows what, and when she's in this fog of PTSD, what she could have done.
This is the moment for Ellie where
It's never going to get better.
it's not going to get better, and she's put her family in danger. So it's probably better to just go.
Well, Dina is also trying to sweep it under the rug, and this is what's going to happen in the next. He was like, let's just go back to bed. Everything's fine. If I could buy another week, maybe she'll get a little bit better.
Or even just the distance to speak. It's just like when somebody's really in the thick of, like, the panic and the fog of grief like that, it's like you do kind of need time in order for them to kind of continue to progress through the stages. But it's like Ellie is refusing to move through these stages. And so, like, I feel like when we were doing this, like, the patience that I have with it was that it's like, maybe she'll move to the next stage soon. Maybe we're getting there. Maybe that's what we're getting to.
I don't know if we ever talked about this, but we had a whole different version of this part of the game where it was Maria that showed up.
Yeah, but we felt it would be more intimate if it were seeing how broken Tommy was.
Well, it should be like feel more the guilt of like seeing the damage on Tommy and having Tommy been changed over this year since he got back to Jackson, of like the guy that wanted to protect Ellie and not go on this quest for revenge is now guilting her into it.
I like that you're coming in late and you're seeing this man has been very broken, and we're getting a sliver of how the abuse he experienced and the things that he did in Seattle have irreparably damaged him. And he's standing right in front of Ellie, and Ellie is looking at how irreparably damaged this man is, and she's like, "Yep, let's do that to me too. I'm willing to see the ghost of my future. That's the fate I deserve."
Sorry.
Nah. We talked about it a lot, and yeah, it's what we both want, so.
Well, the other thing we were talking about is the other big Ellie Tommy scene is after Joel's death and how they can't look at each other. And then this happens again here. Once he asks her to go, she can't look at him.
I think it's a confrontation thing, or when I'm feeling anger, I get uncomfortable, like I don't want somebody to see it.
It's also the shame, right? Of the shame of,
Yeah.
I'm letting you down. I'm letting Joel down. I'm letting myself down.
Yeah.
Described her as built like an ox, traveling with a kid with scars across his face. He said they're living.
I also think that there's something important in this scene for Dina, right? Because Dina has been such an amenable partner through so much of this game and their journey, and even when Ellie's off the deep end, Dina is a nurturing force. And here she's finally drawing the line.
We're done with that. So.
She's finally like, we're done with that. I'm speaking for Ellie now.
There's a line here, and you've crossed it.
And like the rage I felt too when he keeps going, I was like, it's
love it.
insidious. You know, it's like he came and brought the virus back into the house and now she's sick again.
Think of all the guilt he's carrying. He failed to save Joel. He failed to save Jesse. He failed to get Abby. He's fucked up. His marriage has fallen apart. All he has left now is this revenge. That's it.
Well, it also it goes back again to that ego thing where it's like, you asked me to do this and I did it. I went to Seattle. Now I'm coming back for you to pay up, and you're going to be a little bitch about it.
Well, and again, he doesn't. He's too blind to see the suffering that she's going through. All he could see is like how damaged he is. What he's say like, oh, you live out here and you got your family and everything's cushy and everything's fine, and I'm the one suffering. But he doesn't see that he's not the only one suffering.
What a joke.
And I love that Jeffrey, when Dina walks over and Ellie's sitting there at the table, and Jeffrey is not even acknowledging Dina.
In a way, Tommy might feel like, I'm more family to you than Dina is. I've known you longer. Like,
that's exactly
think
what
of everything
it felt,
we've been through. And it's the only time there's really personal conflict between Ellie and Tommy.
That's one of my favorite Dina moments.
Yeah.
Because it felt so real.
I was so mad.
Yeah. Just like flying out the screen door and being like, listen, motherfucker, get off of our property. I love it.
So this was one of the first things we shot for this game.
Yep.
There's so many characters here. We had to shoot this in multiple batches and then stitch it all together.
I did several days just dancing.
Yes.
Yeah, remember we brought a dance choreographer that spent some time with you, Shannon.
Yeah.
This was the demo, and so we had to. This was tricky because we're introducing to the world a lot of new characters with a lot of interesting dynamics, and trying to do that through exposition, but as thin an exposition as possible, because dear God, nobody likes exposition. It was hard.
What happened?
This scene has jumped around all over as we're playing with the structure. It used to be in the very beginning, and then we felt we just had too many cutscenes in the beginning. We needed to get to the action a little bit faster, and then moved it to the end. We changed the writing for the beginning.
She's putting on quite the show.
But there's something kind of nice, and I guess there's a tragedy to it of coming here at the end as a memory. of just seeing Jesse's alive and Ellie and Dina are okay and no one's, and there's Joel.
Hey! What took you so long?
Oh, I'm here.
And this like really innocent first kiss.
Hey, don't forget, we're heading out early, so get some rest.
Yes, sir.
You're such a dick. Come on.
This was the first scene we shot. This was the first scene we shot after you hired me.
Yeah.
How bad do I smell? Like
I look at this and I'm just overwhelmed with all the details of the shirt, of sweat stains, of little hairs on the neck, little dimples on the smile. And just, this is hundreds of people of work for months to get this little moment. Sweat and trying to capture.
The hair that I put behind her ear is crazy.
Yeah. And that has to switch from being physics hair to being hand animated hair
It's
as soon as
crazy.
you make contact with it.
Whoa.
Or not.
And even just the kissing, like, I mean, it's just, it looks so realistic.
Yeah, and it's actually a combination of several performances all stitched together right here. And then the lighting has to change from shot to shot. It's interesting highlighting the bracelet that's back on Dina's hand. It's a nice reflective moment of like how innocent things were for all these characters.
Yeah.
I love just the little surprise on Ellie's face, the little like moment of shock before melting into it.
And then we're about to get into Seth. And again, Shannon, your rage is so real here.
Hey, this is a family event.
Fuck are you looking at?
This whole interaction was based on one time I was at Blockbuster and I'm just talking to my friend, I'm throwing curse words around, and the dad in front of me had his two kids, and he's like, do you mind, there's kids around? And that always stuck with me. I felt such shame having like used curse words in front of these kids.
What did you just say?
Ellie, Ellie, don't.
Get the hell out of here. Get your hands off me.
Hey! Enough. Go on, Ian, let's go for a walk.
What about them?
You worry about yourself.
I feel so bad for Joel here.
Ugh, me too.
What is wrong with you?
She doesn't want to be under his shadow anymore.
No.
But he can't help himself.
He's just trying to. He's
someone
trying to dad.
Someone is hurting her, and he's going to stand up for her.
Oh, Papa Bear. Yeah, you know you were an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saddest scene.
Yeah, with the first game, right, we're talking about how do you take this obsession of love, of a parent's love for a child, to the end of the line? And then this has the reverse of it, of like, how do you take hate to the end of the line? Which is also like another expression of love. And the engineering of it was that here she has this family that loves her, and it's not good enough because she's letting down Joel in her mind.
I love the different energies that you both bring to this scene, where Dina is giving it her everything in this fight, and Ellie just has to shut down.
This scene, my God. I was so hard to leave you because you were so upset and so broken and so sad. And I was like, I should, my must stay. I'm sorry.
I would argue this is maybe Ellie's darkest moment, even though I know where we're going, because this is the choice where she forsakes.
This is where she makes the choice.
Yeah. And I think she knows there's a very good chance she's going to die on this journey.
I guess the thing that we don't talk about is like, I think she's suicidal.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
there's the guilt of what
The
should have
pain is
happened
too
at the
loud.
hospital.
That's why she leaves in the middle of the night. She's not saying goodbye because it's clearly suicide.
Yeah. When the pain gets too loud, she's not there anymore. She's incredibly vulnerable, but she's completely disassociated, and there is this absolute rejection of everything that is right.
I'm just supposed to sit here and wait for you.
At that point, like, you know, you're not talking to the person that you're in the relationship with. You're talking to the grief. And so it's like the convincing comes into like, are you even in there anymore? Like, can I just find you for 1 second? And she's just fully gone.
Both characters have very clear goals, and then there's an obstacle, and then they keep ratcheting out. Like Dina just ups the ante over and over and over until the last bit is ultimatum.
Even the grabbing of the face.
And then she
like
pulls
it's-
her hands down.
Ugh.
And that's it. She knows. Philosophically, with this game, what we wanted to do was allow our characters to make immoral choices that the audience would not be on board with. Up until now, like, we shed some of the audience of, like, you know, the Nora torture. Some people have issues with that, or certain other kind of violent moments. But here we lose almost everybody. And it is by design in that way of, like, you're now, like, playing this thing that you are not on board with at all. You have to keep going. And in a way that does align you with Ellie.